Well, this deal is designed to enable the return of these hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees who are now in Bangladesh and who came from Rakhine State. This deal was signed in Naypyidaw with Aung San Suu Kyi, the de facto leader, and Bangladesh's foreign minister. This deal is based on the 1992-1993 repatriation process when there had already been a cycle of violence targeting the Rohingya, the Muslim minority persecuted in Myanmar, and there are very specific rules to enable a possible return of these refugees. Those in Bangladesh will have to fill in forms giving the names of their family members, their previous address in Rakhine State, and they will also have to sign a disclaimer saying that they're returning voluntarily. But to be accepted back to Burma, well, the authorities in Burma have said that the Rohingya will have to show ID papers to verify their identity. And that is a huge problem because many of these Rohingya civilians fled the violence, fled burning villages and left a lot of their belongings behind. Some say they don't have ID papers anymore, that authorities did not give them ID papers. So that's going to be a crucial problem. Of course, the international community and the UN's Refugee Agency will have to help and act if this return is possible. The UNHCR has already published a statement in the last few minutes saying that this was, quote, an important first step, but that to reach peace, there's a need for reconciliation between all communities, and that the UNHCR is, of course, ready to help the two countries in order for these refugees to return to Rakhine State.
Clovis, now this deal comes just after there were some very intense diplomatic negotiations there. Is that what opened the way to the deal?
Well, it does seem that it did play a role because there has been intense diplomatic efforts with the foreign ministers from European countries going recently to Burma, with the French foreign minister Jean-Yves Le Drian meeting face-to-face with Aung San Suu Kyi, calling for an independent investigation into the alleged atrocities committed by the Burmese army against the Rohingya civilians. And there was also, of course, the US Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, who travelled to Burma. Rex Tillerson, who also said yesterday that he was opening the door for possible sanctions, targeted sanctions against those responsible for, quote, the horrendous atrocities. Remember that many in the international community and in the US speaking of ethnic cleansing to qualify the military crackdown in Rakhine State. This term of ethnic cleansing has not pleased Russia, who's saying that it's counterproductive to use these words. So now the question is, will the Rohingya want to return to Rakhine State, even if they're living in dire conditions in Bangladesh, given, of course, the level of violence that they faced in recent weeks with this army crackdown? Will the Rohingya want to return, and will the army help this return? Will the army allow these Rohingya to return? Those are open questions, and we'll see in the coming days, coming weeks probably.